The title of his film alone certainly told me that writer-director Jonah Hill, with this film, would be reaching back into a decade that kind of just by default would be extremely nostalgic for me. Having grown up in the 90s, I just knew that it wouldn't take much for me to resonate with at least some of this film. Its setting, its style, and its overall visual aesthetic, to name a few things. Be it the compact discs, portable CD players, Ninja Turtle bed sheets, first-generation PlayStations, I just knew that so much of it, whether I was personally into those things or not, would feel so familiar and be so easily nostalgic. With that said, I really was hoping that this film could, on a deeper level, draw me in, and happily, a number of times it did. It did feel like Jonah Hill's mid-90s was able to do much more than just make me feel nostalgic for my childhood. It, like other good coming-of-age films, got me to think about all of our childhoods and when, or rather if, we ever grew out of them. And really the primary way that this film was able to do that was through its outstanding ensemble. Especially when you're working in a genre as, well, overdone as coming of age, you really need to, or at least really should, bring something new and something unique to this kind of classic tale. To stand out, a coming-of-age film has to at least attempt to add something fresh to the genre. And it was the cast that Jonah Hill assembled and directed that really did bring that something to this coming-of-age film. Though indeed there were a couple of moments earlier on in the film where some of the actors' greenness kind of shone through, overall their work together was quite beautiful. You could just tell that Hill had taken the time to make sure that those guys were really a group, and a group of friends, and that they had genuine on-screen chemistry and distinct personalities that could complement each other. Very rarely was there artifice in their interactions, and always was there an abundance of very genuine emotion. And that was something else that I really needed from this film in order for it to work. I needed Jonah Hill to tell his coming-of-age story, not anyone else's. I needed to feel that what I was watching was, at the very least, a series of experiences that he had been around as a youth, if not ones he himself had endured. And there was indeed just enough surprising moments and genuinely unique character moments, like orange juice and self-flagellation, which, yes, does sound quite strange, but it really was elements of those kind that made this film feel personal and real to this filmmaker, which again, especially for a coming-of-age story, is so very important. With that said, this film also possessed a number of scenes that just couldn't quite escape the stereotype that I'd seen in, well, really dozens of coming-of-age films. Also, though I did think that Jonah Hill did do a great job directing his cast, when it came to his visual choices, well, that side of things was fairly uninspired. Though I suppose its simplicity and lack of showiness did help this film feel that much more grounded and realistic. It also meant that the film, from a visual standpoint, was pretty forgettable, even with its unique choice of the 4:3 aspect ratio and heavy film grain. The film also vacillated pretty drastically between surprisingly preachy and on the nose, at times its characters just coming out and expositing its themes and ideas, to impressively subtle and subdued, underplaying these great moments between the characters. And I will say, the latter moments were a joy to watch. The way that this film ended, for example, I would say really did fall into that latter camp quite nicely. When it was all said and done, the highest praise that I can give to Jonah Hill's film, even while some of the scenes did feel awfully cliche from a narrative standpoint and kind of uninspired from a visual standpoint, cumulatively it did add up to something that did feel poignant and true. And for all these reasons, I will give the film a 3.5 out of 5 and a heart. I would still love to know what you guys thought of the film though, so definitely comment below and let me know. And do you have a favorite actor turned director directorial debut? In recent memory, I really liked A Star is Born. And finally, please do subscribe. I'm going to continue to review films and television on this channel, and I would love for you to stay up to date on all of those things. But for now, I'm Chris Hartwell. This is The Heartbeat. Thank you for joining me.